Welcome, everybody. We hope you're nice and warm and dry this morning. Welcome to today's real estate informational seminar brought to you by Austin Lawrence, your mountain biking MLO, mortgage loan originator, PWM, NMLS number 225079, and I am Debby Fries, your rockstar realtor, DRE number 020600256. So today's topic has to do with what is the difference between an appraisal and an inspection? Well, you know, they both start with a vowel, but that doesn't make them the same, obviously. We wouldn't have taken an hour out of our day to help enlighten you on this subject if it wasn't important. But before we get to Austin, I'd like to do a little shameless self-promotion regarding myself. I'm a retired mom of 2 and grandmother of 3, along with multiple fur babies. I enjoy people. Yeah, I do enjoy people, but I also help enjoy, good Lord, what happened to my train of thought this morning? I enjoy helping people find a comfortable fit in their home that's right for them. And that's just when I'm not playing music. I have that other thing that I do. So why am I in real estate? You might want to know. I was once a first-time home buyer. I had no clue about inspections, appraisals, reports, loans, qualification process, sales process, escrow, and all the other terminology that you'll hear get thrown around by people that have been doing the business for a long time. But, you know, I can't help but think back to when I didn't even know what these things meant. So I would have appreciated someone with the heart of a teacher, like I am, like Austin is. We want you to know what you're doing. We want to be able to answer any questions that you have. So we hold your hand and we inform you and we answer questions. And so that's where we're at with this process of meeting with you on a monthly basis to maybe bring topics to you that you may not have thought about, but you're thinking about buying a house, and we want to make sure that you understand it on a layman's terms. You know, we're not going to go too far into the weeds or down the rabbit holes, as they say. So also, I just want to mention before I turn this over to Austin, that if there are topics that you'd like to know about, let us know. You know, I'm kind of always brainstorming on topics that we can talk about because we have made a commitment to come to you once a month with an informational seminar, webinar, however you want to call it, on Zoom. We make it easy for you to attend. We record them. You can watch them later. But anyway, let us know if there are other things that you want to hear about. So, but today, back to today, what's the difference between an appraisal and an inspection? And you might be surprised. So take it away, Austin.
Okay, do you like my nice dramatic entrance there? I'm here. So thank you very much, Debbie. So just a kind of a background with me. I am a mortgage loan originator. So Debbie and I work in concert with a lot of clients with regards to the initiation of the process. We obviously bring in some other team members, title, escrow, etc. But we've really kind of come up with a system that really works for us and is an effective way to not only help our clients to achieve their goal of purchasing a home or refinancing, but also we're really into educating our clients with regards to the terminology, the process, and stuff that you need to know so there are no surprises. As a teacher, we call it front loading, and that's kind of what we try to do, is front load our clients with information that will really benefit them in the process, as well as just kind of alleviate that frustration and that stress that goes along with the process, not knowing what's going to happen next or how this part of the process works. So we ended up kind of brainstorming after working with the client, and we were talking about, you know, here's an interesting phenomenon we keep seeing is after we get the process started, there's these upfront costs that come into it. And 2 of those kind of things that happen right at the beginning of the process, after we've made our initial offer, the residential purchase agreement or RPA, are the home inspection and the home appraisal. And those 2 often are confused by clients because they're like, why am I paying money twice for 2 inspections? And so we kind of thought, you know what, let's take a moment to really clarify what this is. So from my perspective, I like to kind of have a guide that takes you through it, as well as just a resource for the people as they're listening. So I'm going to take you through a PowerPoint, just kind of explaining and outlining the differences and just giving you some examples of both of these particular reviews or inspections that occur. These are the upfront inspections that occur in the process. So that's kind of what you need to know at this point. And without further ado, I'm going to get started and share my screen. So give me one quick second. Let's see, I need my, I'm not finding my file. Okay. So here we go. We're off to the races. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me get this up and running. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So a home inspection versus a home appraisal. And we're really focusing on one specific thing. We're just trying to delineate what are these two parts of the actual purchase process and what are the differences between these? How do we identify what these two inspections are doing? So my name is Austin Lawrence. I am with Pacific Wholesale Mortgage. I am a loan officer. We are termed MLOs, mortgage loan originators, and my NMLS number is 225079. So let's get started. I want to start right away. What's the difference between these two? Let me give you some definitions of the two. So a home inspection evaluates the condition of the property. It's performed for the buyer of a home. This is a general third-party review of the property from the roof to the flooring, to the walls, to the windows, to the ceilings. The goal is to identify the condition of the property, including any defects or issues in or on the property for the buyer. Okay, conversely, a home appraisal is an evaluation that really determines or evaluates the value of the property. This is performed by a lender, and this is used to guarantee or substantiate the value of the home. It's a third-party objective evaluation, so it's done by a licensed appraiser. And what they're doing is basically they're looking at comparable, there's many different versions of this, but the main one we see is they're comparing it to sales in the area, recent sales in the area that are similar to or in like standing of that particular property that they're reviewing. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to start with home inspection. So, do you want protection? Then order a home inspection. These protect buyers. This is a really, really, really important part of the process. And I do want to emphasize, I found this one to be one of those ones that really helps you to understand what the condition of the property is before actually moving into it. So do yourself a favor, do some research, find a couple local contractors that perform these. And then when you're ready to actually schedule your home inspection, you kind of feel like you already know this person and what they're looking at, and they've already kind of went over the process with you. All right, so let me get into some of the details of the home inspection. One thing that you really want to note is this is part of the RPA. So the residential purchase agreement does actually have a section that talks about a home inspection. It is a contingency, is a term that we use for contracts that have a required performance aspect to it. And this part of the process is removed from the contract. Well, this part of the process can be removed from the contract, but I strongly recommend you do it anyway, just so for your own kind of understanding of what your property conditions are. But they can be removed. But this is part of the RPA, so just note that. FHA, VA, USDA, or government all need it, but they do not require it. So we usually don't even actually have the home inspection give it to the lender. In fact, it's just kind of a proprietary document for the actual buyer and the realtor to help them understand and get those repairs. And Debbie would be a great person to go, because she has some of those resources in, like, let's say you're buying in Vallejo. She can actually bring in some of those people to help with those repairs. So again, this becomes kind of a project of synergy, bringing everything together to actually focus on correcting these. So here's what they're identifying. They're looking at the interior and the exterior of the property. With the interior, they review and inspect all areas of the home from the basement to the walls to the attic. One of the things you often see with this is flooring issues, mold, stuff like that, or chipped paint, cracked windows stuff that you would obviously want repaired if you're moving in. Exterior wise, this will include all the property that is considered the home. They usually stick to areas around the home like the basement, windows, and garages. Okay, and then generally speaking, you probably want to know at this point, what does that cost? I'd say anywhere from $300 to $600 in general, and I would say probably average is about $450, $500 is what I've seen recently. Okay, so moving on, I wanted to give you an example of what a home inspection looks like. There are many different variations of this form, but basically what they're doing is they're documenting the condition of the property. This one, I just wanted to give you kind of a snapshot of it. This just talks about the roof and the deck and stuff like that. And then you'll see this is a pretty extensive review. It's numerous pages. So the home inspection report is an official report, and it does need to be done by a licensed contractor. Okay. So that is the home inspection. I'm going to shift gears here and get into an appraisal. So what is an appraisal? This is one of those things that really kind of becomes one of those things that buyers really like, because once they get the value of their property, they can actually break it down into the individual parts and make improvements, increase the value of their property. And it's also kind of a moment to celebrate, especially if you have some equity that's built into the property because you made a good purchase. So a home appraisal is a comprehensive review by a licensed appraiser of a residential or commercial property to ascertain value. They will determine the value of the property, most often based on comparable sales in the area. Appraisals can also include a rental analysis. So if you are, this is investment property, that can be something that's included in that. What's the average rent for this particular type of property in the area? And there are many types of appraisals. So we don't want to get you into the weeds at this point. I just wanted to give you a general understanding. But FHA, conventional, VA, USDA are different types of appraisals. Here's a cool addition that just happened. Fannie Mae, which is our DU approval system, has actually added in, because we're having such a problem with appraisals and turn times, meaning getting them back in the process. They're actually going to offer for some of those homes with more than 20% equity, what's termed a desktop appraisal, meaning the appraiser doesn't actually have to go out to the property, take all the pictures of the rooms and inspect everything. They can just do it from the comfort of their office. Which is a good thing. So again, we're getting some variations here, and we're starting to see that this part of the industry is really moving in and working with us a lot better than they have over the last couple of years. We've seen a lot of changes with Dodd-Frank. So one of the things that we always need to address with appraisals is these are not ordered through the buyer. These are not ordered through the loan officer. These are not ordered through your realtor. These are ordered through what's termed an AMC, or an appraisal management company. So an appraisal is used in finance, like mortgages, must follow a strict decorum because of the Dodd-Frank Act. They must be ordered through an approved appraisal management company, which is designated by and has a contract with the lender that's going to use that particular appraisal. Just a note, something that I just like to front load you with information wise, but let's keep going. So I don't want to get into the details of this slide because this is kind of getting into the weeds, but if you are interested in getting more information about what are the aspects of the appraisal, what can I do to help get the most value out of my actual home, this is a good kind of breakdown of it. Talks about, like, number one, cleaning the house, talks about carpets, appliances, cabinetry, mowed lawn. These are all very important. So presentation and cleanliness are key to getting a high appraised value. So dust, vacuum, declutter your home. Be sure to focus on presenting a nice home with little specific decorations, like family pictures. Be aware of other homes that have recently sold, the comparables in the area, and you may want to go in and see how we call it staging their homes. Should I spend money? Debbie and I will fully agree on this. The answer is yes. please invest a little bit. You'll get something out of it. You should buy things that will make the house have nice curb appeal. If you have shabby bushes in the front, get some new ones. If you have blinds that just are not working properly, either remove them or get some replacements. These things will help to get more value for your home during that appraisal process. So it is a really important thing to focus on: windows, doors, bathrooms, carpet when you're getting your appraisal. Otherwise, I would be more than happy to share with you this PowerPoint and this slide if you wanted to kind of go into the details. Or we can set up an appointment. So the other thing that I wanted to kind of share with you about the appraisal is, what does that appraisal report look like? It's pretty extensive, but the 3 pages you want to focus on start with the URAR, which is the Uniform Residential Appraisal Report. This is an official report in official form, so you usually will see it on this particular form when it's completed. But you can kind of see the breakdown of it. And if you kind of look down here in the middle, it talks about some of those dynamics, the neighborhood, what's the neighborhood like, suburban location, the buildup, what's the movement, and some of the other kind of trends in the area. And then it gets into the details of the specific house, comparing it to other sales, recent sales in the neighborhood. And usually we're talking a half mile to a mile within that area, just FYI. Okay, so that's your appraisal report. And hopefully you kind of can see that these things are completely different and obviously require a little bit different strategy to get the most out of it. Why do realtors care about this? I'm going to share with you my take on this, and I'm sure Debbie will chime in at this after completing my take, because we'd like to hear from a realtor about this. But appraisals establish the value of homes in the market. So appraisals are super important, and they really are something that we focus on to understand where values are in the market, what kind of bid you want to make, what your sale price is going to be, etc. And home inspections help determine desirability. So these 2 things definitely factor into when people are looking. These are kind of the questions that they're going to be asking and are really going to kind of help to focus you on specific areas that are really going to benefit clients. All right, so just wanted to make a note, and I thought this was important because as I'm going through this, and I'm sure Debbie would agree, as most clients would going through this process, what becomes confusing in this is sometimes there's other things like a pest inspection. So just let me deal with that really quick. The pest inspection is usually ordered or paid for by a seller. This inspection is not part of either the home inspection or the appraisal, so it is completely separate, and just important to note that. All right, so one of the things I always like to do is to give you just some kind of a gem as you're getting into this, and you're probably deep in the heart of getting ready to purchase a home, qualifying, etc. One of the things that I always like to share is there's a great tool online that can really help you to kind of play with the numbers and figure out where you're at, what you're trying to do. And that's bankrate.com. They have a great tool that provides the opportunity to see what the loan will look like. And you can even print out a copy of it. So they have what's termed mortgage calculators, and they have different variations. What if you want to make an extra payment? What if you want to increase your down payment? How would that affect your actual costs? And they allow you to kind of see that, which I think is a good tool for people to use as they're getting into this market. Please contact me or Debbie if you want to get values, because as we're talking about appraisals, sometimes you want to know, what do you think that house is worth, generally speaking? Debbie and I can run just a general market analysis. Both of us have that capability, and we'll be more than happy to share that with you so that you can have an idea of houses in a particular area, and whether people are asking too much or you're going to have to overbid, etc. Because let's be honest, this is a super competitive market right now, and it's not going to get any better in the next couple months. So we need to be really aware of these tools and how we can help you, clients, and realtors to really maximize this process. Okay, so without further ado, just want to touch on a review and kind of hit the high points of what we were talking about. So the difference between an inspection and an appraisal. Let's just start with, they are different. They are 2 completely different inspections and 2 costs that you will have. These are upfront costs that you will pay outside of the loan. So a home inspection is used to determine the condition of the property. It is ordered and paid for by the buyer. A home appraisal is used to determine value of the property. It is paid by the buyer. This is confusing, but ordered and used by the lender. So just that's probably the confusing part of that. But let's just talk about it. Home inspection, condition, appraisal, value, which are both important elements as you're getting into that purchase process. Okay, so both home inspection and home appraisals cost money. They are upfront costs when you're purchasing a home. And that's kind of the long and short of it, as just a general introduction to these. So let me just review. Here's my information. Again, please, I would love to get your comments, questions, and we will get back to you within 24 hours. So please put those down in any of the comment section, anything like that. Or you can shoot an email. Here's my email address as well as my contact phone number. Debbie is also equally available, and we work as a really strong team in concert to help our clients. So feel free to reach out to one or both of us, and we'd be happy to have a dialogue with you over the phone, or we can set up a Zoom meeting similar to this and share information and help you to kind of move forward in the process. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time. And without further ado, I'm going to unshare my screen and move it over and let Debbie wrap things up.
Great, thanks. Love the duct tape on that slide, by the way.
Got to keep it real.
You know, thank you, Austin. I always learn something on these too. Never stop learning. Just a couple other comments as far as the inspections go. Sometimes sellers will have the inspections done, and sometimes they're pretty good. And so that might save you some money, but we never ever recommend a waiver of the inspections, because the bottom line is, the importance to me is that as your representative, as a buyer, I want you to know exactly what you're going into. I want you to go into this purchase with eyes wide open, and the inspections will help you see that. You know, okay, there's an issue here, or there's an issue there, or maybe there aren't any issues. And then the other thing about inspections too is that even if you're, I mean, you can be not happy with the ones that the buyer or the seller ordered. You can order your own. You can order separate inspections, like Austin mentioned, the termite inspection. You can do roof. You can do any aspect of the home that you're thinking about purchasing. If you have concerns and you want further inspections, that is totally your right, and we do recommend it. Why do I care about an appraisal? Well, you know, once we look at those comparables, once we start making and this is usually done without an inspection or without an appraisal. I mean, appraisals can be ordered independently, but the bank's not going to use that one. So why spend your money on a separate one? We want to make sure that the appraisal is within reasonable amount of how much we're going to offer on the house. So what I do is look at reports, I look at comparables, and you'll hear realtors throw around the term comps. What that means is comparables. We're comparing, okay, this house has 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, it's 864 square feet. Now, a couple of blocks over, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 856 square feet, sold for this amount of money at this particular time. We want to make sure it's kind of within that range. So that's how we come up with an idea of how much we're going to offer on this house. And then we wait for the bank to say, okay, we'll give you that much money. So that's where it's important to me, because I want to make sure we're within reason, and we're not asking, because if it doesn't appraise, then you're going to have to come up with some more money. But let's just assume that we've done our homework. We've figured out a great price and what works for you, and that's what our offer is. Let's see, other than that, yeah, inspections can keep you safe. And oh, as far as resources go, we as realtors also have resources for inspectors. And there's an inspection company that I've used several times. And I have people that I work with that have many, many, many years experience in the area where I work. And they know, who to call, who's reliable, whose reports are good. So I think what you need to keep in mind is that a lot of the footwork and the homework and the actual maybe boring part of it, because we want to keep the fun part of it for you, going out to look at homes that you are thinking about purchasing and making your dreams come true. So Austin and I do the homework for you. So we do the hard part. And that's where the relationships come in. And as Austin mentioned, we do have a strong relationship and working together to make sure that your home buying process is smooth, easy, and rewarding and successful, and you're happy with your home. So that's it for me.